There's a reason it's called being free. Me, Ivo, I'd like to discuss this today, please. Ivo, very well, my love. Do not be annoyed at the person who asked you to provide all of your work to them in Spanish and offered no compensation. Obviously, this request is illogical because there would be much cost involved to professionally translate our books and videos, and the time it would take would be out of proportion to the amount of good it would do, to benefit one person. Me, I get outrageous requests all the time. I just have to shake my head and remember we live in a crazy world, and the thing that makes it crazy is the ego of all who live here. That's why people are thinking that COVID-19 is about a virus, not governmental control, because their egos have them hooked into being good citizens and nice people who righteously argue their point with those who don't agree with them, and this person must figure I'm so rich I could respond to a request like that at a moment's notice and bear the full cost of it. As if. Which is a good segue to the subject at hand, being free. The reason it's called freedom is because everything is free. As in there is no cost involved. If translating my books into Spanish were free, I would have done it already and provided free copies to anyone wanting to read them. But because there are costs involved, I'm limited to what I can produce and to what I can distribute, because I can't afford it. And for this reason, we are slaves to the system? Because humans in the galaxy can produce whatever they want because there is no cost involved. Correct, Ivo. Ivo, we do not tend to be materialists, and we do not read books because the enjoyment we would derive from a book would take about 5 minutes of your time. We read very quickly and one of your books would take us 5 minutes to read, so it would hardly be worth the expense to print it. Also, we have other ways of exchanging information that do not include the need to cut down our forests. We use our minds and have very advanced computers that store information as well. However, our memories are excellent and we forget nothing. What I suggest is that when you find your freedom, you allow your environs to be free as well, because your need of it diminishes. Me, can you imagine not being able to forget and then living on Earth and being abused? Ivo, such as your brother. He does not forget anything and is stuck reliving an abused past. Me, yes, he's autistic, just for the sake of the audience, and he has a memory like an elephant. In that way he's a savant. He remembers everything, every detail as well. Yet he was horribly abused, so he has that to remember every day. I know he picked to live this way to be with me, so I feel somewhat guilty. He's a Sheran, I suspect a water being, who's a friend of mine from an old lifetime. I think he came to ride shotgun, because otherwise I would have been the one my father would have picked on, not him. Yes, people pick awful lifetimes to live and he chose this. Still hard to believe, to be honest. I'm hearing the word Freda and I suspect that's got something to do with his Sarian incarnation. I'm seeing a female smiling at me. My brother has been so limited, emotionally and intellectually, by his autism, I almost wish he'd go back to Syria so he can live a fuller expression. Ivo, I do not see him living much longer, my love. Me, yeah, he's near 70 now. Ivo, since you are with us now, he has no need to protect you any longer, and your parents have passed on as well, so all is calm now. Me, ah yeah. With them being gone, he doesn't have to protect me. I just hope they got something out of a boy like him and learned enough to evolve. Even my father in the end wasn't such a jerk towards him as he was when he was younger. Maybe he got over his egotistical disappointment at having fathered an imperfect child. Seriously. Ivo, yes, were your brother to pass on, he would be free again. And there would be no reason to cry for him, my love. Me, I know. I cry for him because he lived this life. He took so much shit. Ivo, you have a big heart, my love. Me, I was there, Ivo. I saw what they did to him. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Yes and no. The freedom I was wanting to discuss was economic freedom. Ivo, my love, when one is incarnated, One always lives lives of restriction. One always has limits, and those limits are meant to be overcome. Me, so what about the Matrix and now the deep states clamping down on us with mask wearing? Ivo, these things are meant to be overcome. Earth is a planet of severe restriction, so much so that many beings from other planets come to see how it is dealt with. Me, mostly through begrudging submission. Reluctantly. Some enjoy it, but that's up to them. I never did. Ivo, because you have known better and have not forgotten. Your soul has not forgotten the better lives she lived. And because of this, you are to recreate them here on earth. Me, I resent having to buy food. When push comes to shove, I think it should be free. That is freedom in one aspect. The freedom to have your basic needs provided for without cost. If everyone had this on earth, imagine how liberated we would be to go on to create better things for ourselves. The deep state has us stuck in survival patterns, which is far from freedom. Very far. By having created this economic system, they keep us stuck trying to survive. Ivo, yes, and the rate of inflation and the need to go into debt are two things that are indicative of this. Everything rises in price except your paychecks. And that is by design. Absolutely. So you require debt just to survive and meet your basic needs. This is depressing. This is not the natural state of a human, at all. Our natural state is freedom. Some fear that if everything were free, people would hoard. Those with memories of extreme lack hoard objects, others who realize that all will be provided for them whenever they want, do not hoard and are not greedy. They are secure people. Many believe that having their basic needs met would kill your democratic system. It would not. However, things would change. Instead of earning money to put food on the table, taking side jobs in order to pay off debt or pay for college funding for one's child, these monies would be spent on higher pursuits, such as perhaps music lessons, art lessons, cooking classes, and language learning. Dance classes and sports training would be other options. More along the hobby or recreational spending lines. One would be more free to pursue their hobbies and higher aspects goals rather than simply trying to survive. This is one thing the Saint Germain funds hope to accomplish, to allow you more enjoyment of your lives rather than fretting over spending money on rent and bills. To date, President Trump has outlawed eviction of tenants and homeowners by the mortgage companies. He is establishing the need for the prosperity funds to be released. The COVID-19 pandemic and the deep state's attempts to crash the economy for so many Americans is being thwarted by Trump, who simply writes legislation overriding their attempts to break the American people. You will not be on the hook for monies owed to anyone. Prices have doubled on the large Illuminati vendors for many necessities, and now you must stick to basics instead of paying for these robbers' attempts at price gouging. If you wish to pay double the price on ammunition or guns, or other items that have been raised in price, that is your choice, but understand that you are creating inflation. Me, yes, they're crooks. Ivo, they are. You will see many of these inequities being carried out now, and eventually they will come to be tried for these acts, but the people must be shown. Ashtar says this, and he is correct. You must see that you are living in a dishonest system, and if that means that each person must be relieved of their hard-earned money by crooks, then so be it. You must stop trusting the system. It is not your freedom, it is your prison. Me, I'd like to see Walmart boycotted. Completely. I don't go there anymore. I buy my stuff elsewhere. I would support more ethical companies, but I don't believe that there are any of those either. I like the small retailer, but we don't even have a natural health food store here in my city. The only thing I see around here that encourages me is I see people waking up and starting to talk about waking up too. At least there's some of that. Ivo, yes, your city only has the Illuminati basic franchises. Not too many personally owned stores. This is unfortunate. However, when you move, you will create a city based on your vision, funded by the QFS, and it will have what you will call a general storage rather than a general store, where people can go and get supplies they need at no cost. Me, yes. I thought, too, that we can buy currency from currency exchanges and have it shipped up, because we probably won't be able to go to banks because we're non-compliant. By next year I can see them moving on to vaccines with ID and I won't get that. No way. I'd just like to put out to the audience that they need to start taking steps to extricate themselves from the system, as much as possible. Obviously stocking food and toiletries is important in case the stores go empty or the deep state just entirely shuts them down. Keep money at home. I'd even say take cash out and keep emptying your account of any monies deposited in them. Become more self-sufficient. Boycott stores that you know to be Illuminati, including Walmart. Shop your small retailer, the one that needs money now after the COVID closed down. The deep state was trying to break them as part of their globalist agenda and leave the Walmarts and big chain grocery stores open because they run them. Fight back. Don't take this crap from them. Don't buy food from the big suppliers like Nestlé, who's got designs on taking Canada's water and charging you for it. Buy small company food supplies. Buy natural foods, as organic as possible. Yes, the deep state will invest in them eventually, but get them while they still offer a product to you that isn't as toxic. Instead of complying with their control over us, fight back. Ivo, yes. Unfortunately, this agenda is not being stopped because so many support it. Imagine if everyone refused to support wearing masks. What could they do? Nothing. The police will eventually see the futility of fighting those who refuse to comply and will stop enforcing the laws the people do not want. If everyone stopped wearing masks, then Trump would be able to declare the next election a mask-free event and the deep state would have nothing to say about it. He could also declare the pandemic over with. It is because of compliance that the deep state still has power, because so many give them power. Me, and a reminder, not to hate on people who comply. Before you woke up, you were complying as well, let me remind you of that. Ivo, yes. Hate does not make your world go around, it only destroys it. Love is what makes a human and your people have yet to learn that. Some are already on this path, and more power to them. Me, yes. Thank you, Ivo. Ivo, my dear, you will start your new world city next year. Others will be contacted, but these others must be like you, telepathic with prior contact with us. Those who are not telepathic and in contact with extraterrestrials are like this for a reason, because they are not soul connected enough to be able to deal with us. We require someone within our vibrational range in order to be a contact on Earth, otherwise you will not understand us, nor will you comply with our wishes, as you will be able to be distorted by the Matrix. It is for your own protection that we do not contact those who cannot fight off the Matrix mind and its constant attempts to distort your thinking. Do you not understand that when you have contact with us, the benevolent extraterrestrials, that we must protect you from many fates, not the least of which is death by murder? Then you do not understand the dark ones. When you have the power to do so, you will be contacted, not before. Purify your mind, eliminate egotistical thinking and become of service to others. These are prerequisites.